What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jane. You guys should go ahead and click that subscribe button, join the party, join the fam. So in today's video, we are talking about one of my favorite subjects ever, the core. What I'm going to share with you guys today is how to actually get a strong core, be stronger, lift heavier, and then at the end of this video, I'll be sharing with you guys some of my favorite ab exercises that I've collected over the years. So let's jump on into today's video. So if you guys watched my last video reviewing Whitney Simmons Alive, by the way, I'm so sorry that this video took so long to like film and post. Life has just been crazy. So if you guys watched that last video where I reviewed Alive by Whitney Simmons, I talked a little bit about crunches and why they're probably not the best core exercise, especially for people who are like sitting all day, college students, anything like that. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but if you guys want like the full deep dive, go ahead and check out that video because I explain everything in there. I'm going to link it right above here so you guys can go and watch that one first. The biggest thing is stop doing crunches. Stop doing crunches and stop doing reverse crunches. Reverse crunches might honestly be worse, I think, for your neck. Crunches aren't like really a great core exercise, and mostly because it just puts so much repetitive strain on your low back that it can actually end up causing like a lot of back pain, neck pain. In like really extreme cases, you can get a herniated disc, and we definitely do not want that. We want to keep things safe. We want to get you strong. So those are the things that I would avoid. So when you're working with core, you really want to work in anti-motion. So what I mean by that is the core works in flexion, like bending over, extension. When you stand up nice and tall, you kind of like put a little curve in the back, that's extension, rotation, and then we have lateral, which means side flexion. You'll probably see people do those like weighted side crunches, which are also like no good, no bueno. And I have a whole video on what to do instead of those on my Instagram if you guys want to check that out over there. So those are the motions that our spine can go through. So what you actually want to do is go against those motions, because in real life, like when we're lifting or like on public transportation or at work or whatever, you actually want to work against that flexion, extension, lateral flexion, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to be working in anti-motions, anti-flexion, aka resisting that flexion, anti-extension, resisting the extension, anti-rotation. You can also do rotation actually, and then anti-lateral flexion. So trying to stay up nice and tall when something is pulling you off to the side. So that's my little spiel on what not to do and what we're looking at. So let's go ahead and jump into my favorite core exercises. We're gonna start off with my absolute favorite core exercise. This is the dead bug. This is the exercise in my opinion. So what we're gonna do is we're starting lying on our back with our knees right above our hips and our wrists right above our shoulders. From there, you're going to take opposite limbs and you're going to lower them to the ground about like 2 to 4 inches above the ground, and then keep that core really steady and bring them right back up to that starting position. And then you'll just alternate that back and forth. The key here is that you don't want to lift the low back off the ground. So you don't want to have any kind of arch in your back. You want your entire back to be in contact with the floor at all times. This is another variation of the dead bug. This is a little bit easier if the first one may be a little bit challenging for you. So here we have heel taps. It's basically the same thing, but your arms are going to stay still and your legs are going to stay completely bent the whole time. So you're just bringing your feet down, tapping the heel, and then bringing it right back up to your starting position. Next, we have another favorite. I'm sure that a lot of people may not love these as much as I do, but we're going to talk about planks really quickly because they are so great. The big thing with planks is to remember to bring your feet together completely. So have your heels touching, zip up your quads, really squeeze your glutes tight, squeeze that core, press the floor away with your elbows, and that's going to give you a really strong workout. So what you don't want to do is have kind of like a lazy plank. You really want to keep everything super tight, and that way you only have to hold it for like 20-30 seconds and you're getting everything you need. You don't really need to be doing these for more than 2 minutes. I would say 2 minutes is like a pretty lengthy plank. So if you're squeezing everything tight the whole time, you can totally do 30 seconds and it'd be a super solid exercise. In the same family, we have the side plank. So this is another great one to work on those obliques. So we're working in anti-lateral flexion here. So same thing here. You want to keep everything tight the whole time. So my legs are together, the glutes are squeezed together, my core is squeezed, and then I'm pushing the ground away with that bottom arm. If you want to make this a little bit more difficult, you can also lift that top leg off the ground, which is just going to make you a little bit more unstable. This next exercise is called a beast hold. You're gonna set up in an all fours position and then the knees are just lifting off slightly of the floor. So you want them maybe like 2 to 3 inches above the floor. What I love about the one that we're doing here is that we have a yoga block squeeze between the knees. So you can use a yoga block, a few towels, or like one of those Pilates circles if you have one. But the big thing that you want is to be putting a lot of pressure on that object. So make sure that you're really, really actively squeezing whatever's between your knees. So here, I'm really squeezing that block, building up a lot of tension there. I'm pushing the floor away, keeping my core tight the entire time. And I like to keep my gaze a little bit out in front of me so that I don't have my neck all like locked up. It just helps kind of alleviate any like stress that you would normally put in your neck. Just keep your gaze ever so slightly forward. Next up, we have the Palloff press, and I'm doing this here with a cable, but you could also do this with a resistance band if you wanted to. We're standing up nice and tall, but you do want to have a slight bend in the knees. You don't want to have them locked out. And we're starting off with that cable right by our heart, and you want to move it slowly out right in front of you, so you don't want it to move side to side at all. You want to resist that cable pulling you towards the machine, so you want to have it at like a pretty good weight where you really feel like you're resisting something, and you're going to bring it out right in front of you and then slowly bring it right back to that starting position. This is one of those ones that looks like deceivingly easy, I think, but try it out. It's actually pretty difficult, especially if you put it on a higher weight. So, if you want obliques of steel, a cable chop is your best friend. There's a lot of different variations of it, but I would say that this is probably a good place to start. And if this is a little bit uncomfortable for you, you could also go ahead and get into like a half kneeling position. So you bring that back knee down to the ground and you could do the same movement from there. That's probably more of a beginner's position. So whichever one of those you feel more comfortable with, that's where I would start. So the key here is that when we're bringing this across, you're using that arm furthest away from the cable to pull, and then you're using the arm closest to the cable to push the bar across from you. So ideally you'd like to be completely still except for your arms. Your arms should be the only thing that's moving, and then your core is trying to resist that movement. There are other variations of this where you can like add a twist, you can actually put yourself into rotation, but in terms of places to start, I think that this is a great starting place. And then my last core exercise that I have for you guys is called Stir the Pot. And this one is like, it's so much fun, but oh my God, your abs are going to be on fire. So here I'm on a stability ball. Same like idea with the plank. You know, you want to keep the glutes squeezed, you want to keep the core tight, and you're pressing away from that ball through the elbows. The shoulders should be stacked right on top of the elbows. So from there, that's your starting position. And then you're slowly going to move your arms in a circle. If this is your first time doing this, make those circles really, really small at first until you get comfortable with it, because like, did I fall the first time that I did this? Yeah, absolutely I did. So don't be me and take it easy. Start in small circles. I like doing 6 one way and then 6 the other way. Alright guys, so I hope that you enjoyed that video. The big thing is just to remember those anti-movements and then just get creative and have fun with it. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, I post a ton of core workouts so you can check out more there. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video.